Preparing and presenting a lovely piece of jewelry should ensure it stands the test of time and is worthy of passing on to future generations. Azure the Oceanic is one such creation that will live up to these expectations seamlessly and with ease. While we thank and congratulate Minnie Menon on this function and for giving us this opportunity, we wish this function all success. We shall gladly welcome you to visit our Experience Center at Santhome, where we can share more details of our projects so that you can appreciate the intrinsic value of this creation. Thank you once again.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening once again. I really don't know whether I want to laugh or I want to cry or I want to do a bit of both. But having said that, if I shed a tear or two this evening, believe me, it won't be glycerine-induced. You know, as a humble entrepreneur, when I completed 5 years, I did look at the rearview mirror and at the road I had traveled. It's been quite a journey with many, many learnings. But when I stand here in front of all of you, I feel extremely privileged. I feel privileged because tonight is possible thanks to Jaguar, second year in succession. I don't see Mr. Verma around. I don't see my ponytailed sponsor around.
Here, I'm still here.
Oh, hi, Mr. Verma. You're supposed to be up front. And Upper Swami Real Estates, both are luxury brands, and they live and deal in a very different stratosphere with my little boutique brand. But somewhere, I believe there's a synergy, I believe there's a fit, because I think the customers of all three brands are discerning and they make an informed choice. You know, when I talked about having achieved 5 years in this business, I believe in brand building. The first few years is all about getting support from family and friends. And so thank you, family and friends, for supporting me those first few years. After that, you need intense competition and you need some fierce enemies. And I believe I had that in ample measure. And it also brings out the creative aesthetic in you when you have competition around you. So I feel this rendering is possibly among my best. I do hope you all think so too. But this whole experience in 5 years in my category, it's been a level playing field. It's been a level playing field for me, because my biggest competition, being a niche category, was from fashion jewelry. It was also about predisposing and teaching people about the value of semi-precious and pride of possession in owning a semi-precious jewelry. In this niche, I also discovered that most people didn't realize what the value of semi-precious was. So a lot of imparting of knowledge and talking about stones and conveying that knowledge to people was part of the marketing. It also helped my sales, yes. So I'm sure Anu will come up with a lot of smart answers and questions after this. So I'm not going to delve into that aspect. I'd just like to say in my journey, I've been very influenced by the Thai culture and Thai designers. I've had the privilege of going to the Bangkok Gem and Jewellery Fair twice, thanks to my friend and the Consul General of Thailand. She's my friend, but I think her choice was objective. She and the Council of Trade for Thailand have sent me twice to the Gem and Jewellery Fair. I recently visited, and in an exposure like that, where you see one of the biggest trade fairs in the world, the B2B learnings, the B2C learnings. You come back, you realize the positioning of your brand has to be done in a way very different from the way you have started. The joke among my friends is today, if Minnie wants to travel anywhere, even to the moon, she'll go via Bangkok. Of course, my most consistent supporter has been Naresh and Abhay Mehta of Mehta Jewellery. I could not have survived these 5 years without that. But I think they made one small lapse. They gave me latitude. Abhay and Naresh gave me that latitude. And somewhere down the line, I believed I had a shareholding in the showroom. But it's been an amazing experience working and having a permanent counter there. And it's just been one counter, and I've not looked at any other place. Because I've realized in semi-precious jewelry, while online is the future in the retail business, it is not the future for me, it is not the future for my brand, because my brand is a boutique brand. It's a high touch point business. So what happens really is, if I went online, people would reject some consignment, and stones are like human beings, they have feelings too. So I decided no online for me. So it's been a hasten slowly, but I'm glad I achieved the target I set for myself, and I've got to thank Mehta Jewellery and others for this. And of course, lastly, what would I do without the fourth estate? The Minnie Menon brand would have been out there in oblivion. But thanks to the wonderful support I've got from the scribes of leading publications, this brand has built its own identity over the years. Before I end, I'd just like to talk about this new collection of mine, Play On Gemstones, Play On. I believe it's a reflection of my evolution as a designer, and many of my friends here, I can see Rachana and Kavita and so many, Uma, who were there at my first show. I hope all of you see this evolution and believe I've grown as a designer.
Just thought I must say something about you. Minnie Menon, how do I love thee? Let me count the ways. I think when Edmund Hillary and Sherpa Tenzing Norgay got to Mount Everest, they found Minnie Menon drinking her Chardonnay, immaculately dressed, saying, "Gentlemen, what the hell took you so long?" Because Minnie Menon can make the impossible possible. She was never the let's bake brownies together kind of mother, you know, because that would ruin her manicure. But she would instruct you on how to bake the brownies. She would get you the best oven to bake the brownies. She will do up the kitchen really beautifully that would house the oven that would bake the brownies. And she would decorate her house splendidly that would house the kitchen that would house the oven that would bake the brownies. And at the end of it, when you said, "Minnie, let's have a brownie," she's like, "No, it's not gluten-free." My mother is so posh that she would find something wrong with the table setting at Buckingham Palace. My mother is so posh that she wears designer clothes while designing her jewelry. My mother is so posh that Victoria Beckham calls Minnie Posh Spice. Minnie is brilliant at multitasking. She can frown at the same time as she can smile. It's a trait she has passed on to her grandson. My son multitasks too. He can yawn while he's sleeping. Minnie keeps you on your toes, and she's constantly surprising you, which is also very stressful, which meant that I had to start using wrinkle cream earlier than anticipated. She is the source of my inspiration and exasperation. And Minnie's passion, I think her first love has always been sport, you know, cricket and tennis. And I didn't think that anything could usurp that. But Minnie Menon Jewellery comes pretty darn close, right? So I was like, fine. I made peace with the fact that I was the second love of Minnie's life. But I've recently learned that her pet cat has usurped that place as well. And Minnie's so posh, you would think that her pet cat is called Nefertiti or Cleopatra or something like that. No, Minnie's pet cat is named Gundu. I mean, I don't mean to fat shame the cat, but meow. Minnie Menon, how do I love thee? Let me count the ways. You may be designing semi-precious jewelry, but you will always be our Kohinoor.